So let's get started. So we don't need this utility over here. We will need this routes, but we will not need all this extra stuff in here for now. So we don't need this options over here. Let's save that. Let's make sure everything is running the way it is. Go to index.js, and it's not using utility over here, so save that. So all our routes are here. This is a clean project. So let's create the 4 routes that we will need. It's get, post, put, and delete. So let's do fastify.get, and this will be a simple /, and it will take in options, but we will specify that later. But it'll be an async function with the request and reply. It'll be an arrow function. And just to save some time, I will copy and paste this 4 times, and this will be a post. This will be what was it, a put? Yeah, and this will be a delete. So post will take in a body, put will take in a body, and delete will actually take in an ID over here. And actually, let's also do another get request that will return a singular to do over here. And now you can differentiate between this, so I'm going to take advantage of the prefixing that Fastify provides. So we'll do prefix with /post. So now we got to do post /id, post /this, post /that. So now let's let's build out a few options that we need. I'm gonna skip through the get request because it's super straightforward. I will just do post, put. Actually, I'll do the gets too. So what we'll do here is, let's just do get. Let's just do const get options, and then it will be a schema over here. Copy paste this 2, 3, 4, 5. Clean that up a little bit. So now we got all of this fancy stuff. Okay, so it's just complaining that we're not using it, and that's what standard does. I am going to use a Mongodb database through Docker, so I'm just going to start my Mongodb database in Docker. So I'm just going to start that. If you want more information about Docker, I will release a video soon just explaining it if anyone doesn't know. But now we want to use that database, so let me just make a plugin over here for Mongo so that we can use it. So again, we will need the Fastify plugin because I want this available throughout the whole Fastify server over here. So we'll require the Fastify plugin, and then it will be a function. It'll be a DB connector, and it will take a Fastify options and take in a done as well. And right at the bottom, we will call done. And over here, we do need to import. Fastify has its own maintained plugin, so we can do npm install Fastify Mongodb just to make things more easier for us over here. Fastify, I didn't spell it right. npm install Fastify plugin. We should get that. And then over here, let's start our Fastify. So fastify.register, and then we require that plugin. So it will be Fastify Mongodb. I imported the wrong thing. So npm install Fastify Mongodb, and that will get the Mongo. And then over here, we'll pass in some options, and it will be basically the URL where Mongo exists. So this is just the generic place that Mongo gets bootstrapped. And this will just be a regular test DB. It's actually colon with 27018, and then Mongo is over here. And now we can go to our index.js and we can actually register that over here. So fastify.register, and then we will require the plugin that we just created. So /plugin/Mongo. Save that, and that will register our Mongo. Fastify plugin is thing. Okay, yeah, because we didn't use it at the very bottom here, so we gotta do module exports is equal to Fastify plugin and wrap the DB connector inside it. Save that. Cool. It's only complaining about the get options, so this is all good here. So let's just say the schema, and the only thing that we care about for this is getting all the post. So it will be a response object, and for the 200 status code it will be a type array because we're getting multiple posts back, and the items will be of type object over here, and on the properties it will have an ID and it will be of type string over here, and it will have a name of type string. It will have a status also of type string, and the other stuff just for showing the use case is created at, and it will be of type string also, because the date actually only exists in JavaScript, doesn't exist in JSON, so we gotta cast this to a string, and then we will have an updated at over here as well, and it'll be also of type string. Cool. This is what it will generally look like. And to get, okay, so this is to get 1. So what we will do is actually copy this entire schema and paste it over here. So this is get opt, this is get opt, this is to get 1, this is to get many, so let me make this plural. So this will be an array and this will just be an object. So I'll remove this and I will remove this and I will save this. Hopefully it will format it correctly. It doesn't because it's complaining about all this, but anyways, let's just add this to a few routes over here. So we'll add this over here and then get opts, and over here get put options. Put goes here, post opt, and then delete opt. I save all of that. This is missing commas over here. Save that. There's multiple put opts over here, so let's make this to post. Save that. Now we have access to the post, and the server is now running now because there's no problems, and this got nicely formatted for us. Okay, so we can't really show this off right now, so let's start on something that we really need, which is the post options here. So this will have a body which will have of type object, because we need data to exist within the database first. So type object over here, and it will have multiple properties. So I think the only thing we're concerned about is the name and the status. So for name, we will have of type string, and then status of type string as well. So that's the body we're taking in, and then we want to return a response as well. So for 200, we are going to return the one object over here. So it'll be this exact same thing over here. Paste that in there. And yeah, so we got the name, the status, and it will spit out the inserted to do. So now we got our to do over here. So now let's code out the post to do. So now let's extract our to do. So let's do const to do from the body. So we'll do request.body, which will give us the to do. Oops, we don't need that. And then we will add our created at, and then we will make a new date out of this, and then to do dot updated at is also the same date. And then we need to await the database connection to make sure it's actually doing its thing. Now we could just do Fastify dot, this is how you get access to it. So mongodb.db.collection, and then get access to do, and then do all the stuff here. What I'm actually gonna do is move this to the very top. So I'm gonna just replace this over here and just make a const to do collection so that we can use this over here. So paste that, and now we have access to the to do collection over here. So now all we got to do is await to do, and then we just pretty much insert our document in here. So we do insert a to do over here, and then we can do const inserted to do is equal to result dot operation 0, and then we return inserted to do over here. Okay, so that's cool. So now we got this post route here. We pass the body in with the to do stuff, and then we'll insert it into this document, and we'll return it out to us. So now we go here, / to do, make sure it's a post. And so now the two things that we said we were going to take is name, and so let's put a to do of car wash, and the status is to do over here. So now, oh, I also got to change this to the, I put it for post, but I actually meant to do. Excuse me, I just went for a long bike ride, so I'm kind of tired. But yeah, so if we send that in, we get our document returned back to us, our car wash, the to do, and now let's say we gotta do groceries, right? Groceries, and we're actually doing this right now. So we send that in, and we get it returned back to us, the groceries for to do with the time. Cool. So now let's insert a few more. So dog walk, and we will put this for to do as well, and send that in. And cool, so now we got all that fancy stuff. We go back here, and let's return all our to do's that we have. So it's this will be pretty simple. So to do's is equal to await to do collection dot find. We won't put anything there with no filter, so we'll just return everything, and then we'll cast that to an array, and then we just return all our to do's over here. So if we save that, it gets compiled over here. Let's open a new one and copy this, paste that over here, just do a get request. So now we got a status of 200, and that's probably because some request was put in wrong. So yeah, so our get options would actually need to be here, because this is for multiple and this is for single over here. And if we go back here and hit enter, we get all our documents back. And as you can see, like that's how this validation works, which is really nice. It just makes things so you know what's going, you define what's going in and you define what's going out. It doesn't let you break things easier because you don't know what you're coding. This way at least you're defining it so you know what you're doing. So now we got our post. So now let's move our to-dos from like doing to done and all that stuff. So let's code this out over here. So we got some information in our body, which will be an ID and a status. So the ID of the to do and the new status that it will that it wants to be in. And so with the ID we get in is as a string, but we do have to cast that in as actually a Mongo object. It's not the same as anything. Like if you try to just use ID by itself, which is passed in through the request, like you will not be successful in trying to get your data back. So we do const result is equal to await to do collection, and then we find one and update, and we try to find the ID, and then we set. This is how we set the values. So we pass in the status, and then actually we also want to pass in the updated at. So updated underscore at, and then it will be the current date that we have. And there's another thing, so it doesn't if you just do this, the result will just be the result of the previous object. So you'll have to do something extra, which is pass in an option, and that option is named return original, and we set that to false, and that will get us the most recent value from it. So that's nice and formatted. So now we got our result over here, and we just got to return result dot value. Save that, and it's nice and compiled over here. So copy that, paste it over here, change it to a put request, and let's change our groceries from doing to done. So now let's copy that ID, go to our body over here, go to raw, change that to JSON, and then our ID is equal to that, and then the new status will be done. We're done doing groceries. Send that in, and we get our object returned back with the new done. And if we go back here just to verify to get all our objects, oh wait, yeah, this changes to done. We can do the same thing with car wash too. So we let's say we're doing it right now, and then I don't know, your car gets dirty, gotta do it again. So let's change this back to do, save that, and our car wash gets put back to do, and we get that. Great. Let's move on to our final, which is deleting a to do. So now let's pretty much do const ID over here, and it's equal to request dot params, because it's inside. Actually, because it's inside, it's named this. So let me change that to just an ID, so it's in the param, and then we will take our ID and cast it to a Mongo ID. So Fastify Mongo dot object. It already knows what I want, so that's good. Cool. And now we just do const result is equal to await collection. And then we just want to delete one. So delete one with the ID, and we return. So just so we know that it's actually deleted, let's just return a status of true over here. So now we also got to modify this to account for the new status. So we go to our delete options here. Nothing is specified. So we put in a response of 200 status code, and it will be of type object. Will be of type object, and then the properties will be status of type Boolean. Cool. So now we got the response. There's another thing that we also need to add in, which is the query string. So we'll do query string, and the query string contains an ID of type string. Put this in quotes and go down here and comma that and save that. Standard does its whole prettified thing. So result is never used over here. Okay, so just so it is used, let's just console log. Actually, we don't even need result over here, so let's just remove this, and save that. And then standard does this whole prettying thing, and then the server starts up. So now let's say we're done doing groceries and we want to delete it because it's really old. So now let's take our to-do route over here, and we just gotta pass in our ID that we want to delete. So let's copy that and paste that in right here. So now we delete, send that in as a request. Cannot destructure property ID as it is undefined. Yeah, it's actually params over here instead of param, because it's plural. And then we send that in, and then there we get the status return true. So this was this groceries over here. So now if we send in another request, our groceries object is not available anymore. Yeah, and this is pretty much how you would use Fastify in kind of like a HTTP setting. Just now, let me just show some authentication, how you would set up basic authentication within this this system over here. So you would use our really nice decorate that Fastify provides. So we'll do fastify.decorate, and we will have a little auth function over here, which pretty much takes in the request, and it checks whether the request header is equal to something. So let's do request.header dot let's just name this header auth, and we'll see if it's equal to a string called secret over here. Cool. So now we got this nifty little decorate available here. So now it's available within all these. So get, we want to remain public, but post, we kind of want to make it private. So what we'll do is just do a simple check. So if Fastify, if auth isn't available on fastify.auth, and we'll pass in the request. Then to stop this, we will need to so if it's not true, then it will return an error. So oops, how did that happen? Const error is equal to new error, and error dot status code is equal to 401, which is unauthorized. And we got error dot message is equal to not authorized over here. And then we pretty much, since this is an async await function, we just got to throw the error within this. So now post is protected under this nifty little Fastify thing. So if we go back to our post function, and let's say we got to do another thing is paint garage paint bedroom, and we got to put that to do. We send that in, and it's like, oh, it's unauthorized. So what we would have to do is go into our headers here and add a auth param in the headers, and let's just do something that's not the right thing, and we send that in again, and it doesn't let us through. But if we put in the right answer, which is expected, it inserts it successfully. So if we go back here, we can see our paint bedroom over here. So this is in our to do. So that's how you protect it. And it seems kind of painful now to protect this and this. We would have to copy all this and paste it within each of this, which is not very well, it's not very maintainable. So Fastify has this neat thing called Fastify Hooks. It has a bunch of hooks, like pre-handler, post-handler, when send, and all that kind of stuff. But the one that's most appropriate for us, and the one that's most appropriate for middlewares, is add hook under the name of pre-handler. So handler over here, and then it'll be another async function with the request and reply. It'll be arrow function, and pretty much we paste that same thing in here. And this will be now available for all these routes over here. So now we can remove this successfully and save this, and it'll successfully, and it'll do all the linting, successfully compile. And if we go back here and change that, yeah, you can't get this, you can't change stuff over here. Now you're unauthorized. But now the problem is that when we try to get all our to-dos, which we said were public, we don't have access to it. So if you remember in our, I'm going to remove this because it's just the same thing as get, so as getting all the to-dos. So let's just remove that. And now let me go into how we can isolate the auth. The way we can do that is using Fastify register again. So, and use scoping like I mentioned in the beginning of this video. So register, and then we register adding, and it takes in a function, and the function has parameter one as Fastify, options, and done. And just so I don't forget, it's that done at the very end. And now this is a scope by itself. So what we can do now is we can either put the public handler in here so it's separated from all of this, or we can put the protected ones. I'm gonna put all the protected ones here because it just seems more, it seems better that way. So let's just cut that and paste that in here. Save that. So function isn't spelled properly, and then that compiles. And within over here, we can leave this auth available over here, but now we need to add the hook within this register scope over here. So now within this hook, all the routes over here now have now we're using this pre-handler over here. And the way we can verify is we can go back to get and send that in, and we get all our to-dos available here. But if we go back to post and we send that in, we're still not authorized because we haven't added a header here. So auth over here, and we add the secret. And let's go back to our body here and change something. We actually, so the car wash, let's say we skipped doing it and we put it to done. We send that in, successfully gets changed, and we hit enter, and that changes over there. And this is pretty much the gist of how you use Fastify for your HTTP stuff. I really recommend you look into it more. There's so much more validation and stuff that I really like. In the backend, when this thing compiles, it really optimizes for serializing JSON, which actually takes up a lot of time. So this actually makes Fastify very efficient, which is one of the reasons why it goes so fast. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you learned something new. if you don't mind to subscribe or like this video if you really enjoyed or learned something new, and drop a comment down below on what topic I should cover next. I think my next video will be covering JavaScript, because I realize I'm going over JavaScript, but I haven't I'm using JavaScript libraries, but I haven't taught it from my perspective. So my next video will be that, just to cover the basics. But anyways, I hope everyone enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace.